Hello everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Stirring It Up with Tierra Monique Kitchen Table Talk. And on today's segment of political news, we have Senator Ron Johnson, Republican of Wisconsin, stepping into the center square because we won't allow him at the table to talk about a whole bunch of fuckery. So let's listen and talk about
the coup has started, first of many steps, rebellion and impeachment to follow ultimately. This was started when the mainstream media dropped any pretense of being unbiased and actually chose sides during this election. This fire was started when you completely ignored, for example, our investigation of Hunter Biden. No evidence of wrongdoing there, and now we find out after the election, no, there is a fair amount of evidence to the point that we have a real FBI investigation.
Senator,
so
all right, I've had enough of hearing this.
Listen, I've had enough of this too.
No, Senator, it is.
That has created a situation where Republicans and conservatives do not trust the mainstream media, and that is what has destroyed the credibility of the media and our institutions, and really
the destruction
confidence
of
in
the
this election result. So I'm going to start this.
Listen, you have spent, and I'm just curious, Senator, you have spent much of your time in the last 2 years carrying a lot of this crazy conspiratorial water for President Trump, whether it was the attempt to somehow blame Ukraine for the interference in the election rather than Russia. You've used your committee to sort of create the illusion of voter fraud, as you just described earlier, because they're, quote, allegations. I'm just trying to understand here, what are you doing it for? You're not trying to overturn the election, you just said. Are you simply trying to curry favor with constituents of the president's? Is that what this is all about? Is this a cynical political ploy?
I'm trying to be transparent. One of the things we found out in our hearing is, the basic allegations kind of fall into three categories. I would say the first is the either violation of or lax enforcement of election law. There is voter fraud. There always is. We had one witness talk about 42,000 people voting twice in Nevada. The other issue
just
really
because
is
you have somebody say it didn't make it true.
It's easy.
Senator,
it's
none
easy.
of these allegations. Stop. You don't get to make these allegations that haven't been proven true. Here's what I don't understand. You understand how our government was set up. The reason we have a judiciary is because partisans like yourself weren't going to be trusted by the public to decide who won or lost an election. Let me ask you this. Who carried the state of Wisconsin?
Well, Vice President Biden has won by 20,000 votes. But there are also issues in Wisconsin. One of the things I point out and was revealed in our hearing is I entered in the record 3 letters written by congressional Democrats to the voting machine manufacturers. Now, at that point in time, I didn't hear Chuck Schumer call it quackery or conspiracy theory or a ridiculous charade. But that's exactly how he attacked my hearing that I thought was a really good hearing that laid out some of the issues. We had Chris Krebs testify. Chris Krebs said, this is the most secure election, but in our hearing he actually admitted, well, he wasn't talking about potential fraud, he was just looking at hacking. He also admitted that some of these election and tabulation machines are hooked up to the internet, which privately told me that wasn't the case. So again, I didn't criticize Democrats when they were talking about potential hacking of voting machines, but now it's quackery, now it's conspiracy theory. That's the problem, Chuck. There's a double standard here, and we are not being transparent, and we are dismissing the concerns of tens of millions of Americans. Again, I didn't like this fire. This fire was lit over 4 years ago, and we've destroyed the credibility you have destroyed the credibility of the news media by your bias. And of course, people like James Comey, Andrew McCabe, John Brennan destroyed the credibility of the FBI and our justice system as well. We have an enormous problem in this country. It's unsustainable, and the only way you solve it is with information and transparency and hearings and investigations.
So you believe,
it's not quackery, it's not conspiracy theory. It's what's going to be required.
Let me ask you this. Then why didn't you hold hearings about the 9/11 truthers? There's plenty of people who thought 9/11 was an inside job. So you're basically saying is that there's enough people who believe in conspiracy theory. If there's enough people who hold
it was the most relevant issue.
Are you going to do it? How about the moon landing?
Obviously, this election, what I would like to hold hearings on, what I was talking about, and why did we not spend hundreds of billions of dollars exploring early treatment? Why did we vilify doctors who had the courage to treat COVID patients, practice medicine, try and find available, cheap, repurpose drugs to do so. Why? I'd love to hold hearings on that. There are all kinds of things that I'd like to hold hearings on. You have to kind of pick and choose based on priorities. Right now, we have this election. We've got tens of millions of Americans that think this election was stolen. We need to get to the bottom of it. Again, what's explained, we need to explain it, get that off the table. But we also have to acknowledge there were some real problems here. There's some issues that need to be explored and investigated.
You got to ask yourself, when you tell people a million times that something was stolen or something was fraud, and then they believe it, I think you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself why so many people.
Well, Chuck, you need to look in your mirror and
Senator Johnson, I've got to go. I appreciate you coming on.
Collusion with the Trump campaign hoax. That is what you did in the media. You carried that water for years. You destroyed the credibility of the press.
Senator Johnson, other than crediting you for coming on, I appreciate that, because only 2 of your colleagues had the guts to say yes this weekend about this conspiracy theory that you're working on. Thanks for coming on. That I appreciate.
All right, folks. Thanks for watching another episode of Stirring It Up with me, Tara Monique. And I just want to say, I want to get off the crazy train. How about you? Please let us know what you think in the comment section below. And if you so happen to like this video, please do hit the like and subscribe to become a friend. And to all our new subscribers, we see you. Thank you so much. You're appreciated. Until next time, and there will be a next time. Bye.
Black Lagoon, they're going to bring in little creatures, from the Black Lagoon, and instead of draining the swamp, they're going to dump cesspool water into the swamp.